What's going on, everybody? I just wanted to go over what I think, quite honestly, is the most important thing that we don't talk about that often in fly fishing, and why it's not actually what you think it is. So we all know choosing the right fly, great. Presentation, super important. In fact, probably arguably more important. But gear aside, fly selection aside, I think what we need to really focus on more often is our leader selection. Lines are important, but I would argue that the leader you choose, length of leader, diameter leader, material, is more important than most people give it credit. So hypothetically, I've got, a reel sitting here, and I've got the right weight line for my rod, and all is great. Sweet. My rod powered perfectly, my casting, I've been practicing a whole, super frequently. I've got the right fly, everything's great. But I go to cast my rod, and I splash down on the water. Well, I know that my casting was accurate. Okay, I know that the fly wasn't super heavy. Well, what's the deal? Quite often, it's we didn't choose the right leader. We don't give it much thought, quite frankly, which leader we're going to actually choose to use for specific applications, but quite often we need a longer leader, a shorter leader, a thinner leader, a thicker leader. A lot can be said about your presentation or about how effective your presentation is going to be, whether it's going to spook a fish or even get a fish's attention based on the leader primarily. And it will affect how well your flies turn over. I find frequently that if I've been using a leader for a while, I'm not catching as many fish, and it's because it needs to be longer. I'm spooking fish because I'm cutting into the belly section or the tapered section of the actual leader itself, when I actually need to be using the longer length, not so much because of the length itself of the leader, it's that the thinner part of the diameter of the leader has been cut into, and now I'm in a thicker part. So if you're not catching fish, but you catch fish frequently with similar flies, using similar casts and similar presentations on similar waters, try using a new leader or lengthening your leader, thinning your leader out. I would go as thin of a diameter of a leader as you can before it affects delivery of flies, whether you're fishing for bushy flies or whether you're fishing beadhead or whatever. But sometimes, on the flip side of that, when you're fishing to bass or something where you want splashing, or in choppy water where you want a little bit of surface disruption, going in with a heavier leader, causing more line speed, causing a splat, sometimes can work in your favor. But experiment with your leaders. I find that more often than not, if something's not going well, and I know that I've been practicing very similar type situations and casting, quite often it's my leader. Before I change my fly, before I change my line, my rod, whatever, it's my leader that I have to readjust. Because fish will eat a variety of food at once. It doesn't have to be perfect all the time. But if it's presented poorly, that's where you run into trouble. Hopefully you guys liked the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the other videos in the playlist. And until next time, guys, catch you guys on the flip side. Tight lines, and we're out.